Um, okay, so Carrie, I assume you've done the roll call.
All set.
I assume we don't have any citizens petitions. And so the next item is to approve the minutes from June.
Move to approve the minutes from June.
Thank you.
Seem all right.
Okay, so Dave, you'll second,
I'll second.
and
Um,
all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so we've approved the minutes from June. They look
Thank you.
fine to me. Thanks, Carrie.
Thank you.
Could I ask a minor question?
Yeah, please.
In the a while back, they talked about MIU general permits. What does MIU stand for?
Miscellaneous industrial user.
Pardon?
Miscellaneous industrial user.
Miscellaneous industrial user. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
that's a state term. DEEP.
Those
came up
were
with that one.
the
Yes.
new permittings that we took over from the state, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions on the minutes? I guessed what that was, but I had no idea what MIU stood for. Okay. Communications and bills, I assume we have nothing. And so we can move on to reports. No consultant reports, right, Greg?
No, nothing this month.
Okay, changes to sewer use list.
Yeah, I'll just report that I don't have the number, but we did get several new residential hookups over the summer. But probably more importantly, we had 3 Water Street, which is that large building in downtown Mystic next to SIFT. That building is, I guess, pretty almost fully occupied. So we have 3 commercial units and 10 residential units that will be paying the sewer user fees.
Okay.
Big building. Okay, I assume there's no attorney's report, and so we're on to the Public Works Director's report.
Okay, yeah, I'll just update on some of the CIP projects we have out there. The first is the Northwest Interceptor I&I, which is the inflow infiltration study. We had that modeling done a while back with Fussell O'Neill, and we asked them to put together a scope of service to actually go out and do some further investigation to really pinpoint where some of this inflow and infiltration is coming from, so that we can seal up those areas so that we're not treating groundwater or rainwater. So they just submitted the draft scope of service. Harry and I are reviewing it, but the work will actually be done in the spring of 2020. That's the best time to do these type of studies, when you get high groundwater and lots of rain. So that is in progress. We also met last week, Harry and I with Fussell O'Neill. They're doing a 10-year CIP update for all the wastewater treatment plant, all the collection system, to identify a number of projects that we'll be looking at over the next 10 years, kind of a larger planning study. Once that's pretty much done, we'll have them come in and present that, so you can get an idea of what we're looking at.
Acronym police wants to know what a CIP update is.
Capital Improvement Program.
Thank you.
Yep, that's all our large dollar amount projects.
Yeah. Okay.
So that 10-year was just for the water pollution facility, or more generally for the town?
No, this is just for water pollution control.
Okay.
The town does a CIP that's a 5-year plan. And we actually are part of that, but we like to, because we have such a complex organization and machinery and equipment stuff, we want to just make sure that we're looking 10 years out, which is kind of what the DEP recommends, you know,
Mhm.
that facilities do. And we had one done a number of years ago, so it was time to update it. The gravel
This-
street,
This is in progress now?
they're in progress now. And I'm hopefully they'll have it finished up in a couple of months so that, you know, we'll bring them in and, you know, the future meeting.
Okay.
The gravel street pump station upgrades, we signed a contract. I don't remember if that was before summer or not, but the contractor has been putting his submittals in, which is, you know, all the paperwork for the equipment and fixtures he's proposing to use. And the engineers in process are reviewing that, and they're scheduled to start within the next couple of weeks, actually on site doing that work. And if all goes well, it should be wrapped up by the end of the year. And
Mhm.
this is a project to put in new pumps, motors, and motor controllers, some electrical upgrades to that gravel street pump station.
New pumps
Yep.
and something else?
Motors and motor controllers.
Motors, okay, yeah. Okay.
The treatment plant laboratory and the restrooms that are in the administration building, which don't meet current ADA requirements. We have an architect doing some preliminary designs to upgrade those restroom facilities and also modernize the laboratory. That was a CIP project that we had to just do the preliminary designs, which we just received actually today. So Harry and I'll be taking a look at that, and then we'll get a cost estimate, and that'll be, you know, part of the CIP coming up this year. Goss Cove Pump Station, which is, you know, is our major pump station upgrade we're doing right now. There have been some delays, just like everything else in this world. Everything seems to be delayed. They were supposed to be starting now, but now it looks like it's gonna be January before they get all their fittings and pipes and pumps and everything in. They have done some things. They removed the underground fuel tank and they replaced a bioxide tank. But these other delays that are beyond their control are just causing it to be moved out a few months. I think the only other thing is we had a project to do a resiliency study for all our coastal pump stations. So Harry got a fee proposal and a scope from a consultant engineer, I think it was Wright Pierce, which they're actually doing the city's resiliency study right now. And so they'll be looking at all the pump stations that are along the coast to see what we can do to make sure that they will survive any flooding and you know, sea level rise in the coming years. So we're just reviewing that scope and fee right now, so hope to get them started soon.
Yeah. Do you offhand think there's gonna be a big problem?
I think some of these stations will be, yeah, like you know, Little Gibraltar, which is, you know, right down at Cedar Road. It's, you know, Gravel Street is right along the Mystic River. Yeah, I don't know what the town's going to do overall. You know, they're predicting 20 inches of sea level rise by 2050. That's not too far away.
And another part of that study is that that's like the first step, if there's ever any sort of federal money available, is to have that resiliency study in hand to get in line and get federal money if any ever becomes available.
Mhm.
Yeah, good point, Harry, because I'm sure that there will be a lot of money coming down for these type of things.
So just to remind me, the CIP is funded from our sewer fees or through other mechanisms?
Through our sewer fees.
Okay.
Yep.
So we just set fees. Presumably, would any of these projects that are sort of being investigated now mean that we need to make changes potentially next year?
Yeah, when we look at the budget, we include all these larger projects, like, we included the Gosco pump station, which I think was like 1.3 million, not this past year, but the year before, because, kind of the direction we were going, which is probably wise, is to do like a major project every other year so that we can build up our fund balance with the user fees. So we're
Right.
kind of putting money in the bank, and then rather than having to go out and, bond for it.
Thanks. Anything else or,
No, we can go on to the next one.
okay, we'll move on to the facility report. Harry, are you gonna?
Sure. So you got 3 months worth there of reports. And so looking at our nitrogen, we'll start with the nitrogen. We had that little hiccup at our last meeting where we were having some difficulties with nitrogen removal. That's been brought back in line. Actually, I think by June we were back in line, probably even a little before that. But that, running some numbers, that hiccup is going to make it unlikely that we'll get money back from DEP this year, even though we may have to pay. It won't be a lot. We'll probably come in just over our limit, unless something really really great happens. That's what I'm projecting. Process is generally doing okay as far as our BOD removal. We're meeting all of our permit requirements. One thing that's really kind of striking right now is the amount of sludge that we're dealing with. Not really clear what is generating it, but I've trended it, and it's kind of a long-term trend where it's increasing. And just to give an idea, in 2019, we averaged about 2.9 tons per day of dry sludge. Last year, we were at 2.8, so that's kind of where we usually run. So far this year, our average is 3.25. So that's a little more than, a quarter ton per day, which adds up. We've been actually running a decent amount of overtime and having extra sludge trucks to be able to haul this away. So the trend's been going on since probably close to the beginning of the year, and I can't really pinpoint any cause of it.
Is there any possibility? Is there any possibility that the Beard Brewery is in it?
I really don't know. We haven't been smelling a lot of that brewery stuff lately. So I can't really pinpoint it on him. But yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if there's enough growth in town that's causing this, or if it is someone pushing something into the system.
It sounds like some particular thing that's making a big difference. I mean, you're talking about a 50% increase, close to. No less than that.
Yeah, it went from, say, a 2.9 to a 3.25 average. So about.
Oh, that's more like 10%. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it is significant. So, for example, whereas in 2020, by this point in time in the year, we had 346 truck trips to haul it away. So far this year, we're at 388 truck trips. So there's like another 42 trips.
Mm-hmm. That's like 20%.
Another 42 trucks. So that's a noticeable difference. And so I just want to make you guys aware of that. I mean, we keep our eyes open for where it could possibly be coming from, but I don't know what the growth trend in the town is, if anything's been going on that could cause that. So more of an information thing than having a solution at this point. So let's see, I think that's about where we are with the plant performance. We're still meeting our permit. We did have that big storm event a few weeks back. That was a pretty intense evening.
Mhm.
The flows were going through the plant greater than 12 million gallons per day rate, which is, we're normally doing 2 or 3. We actually had staff stationed at pump stations closing the inlet gates in to be able to control the flow into the plant. If those pump stations are left to their own control systems, they'll just pump everything that comes in, and it gets down to the plant, and it was overwhelming the plant. So we had to go out and stop the inflow into the pump stations by closing their inlet gates, letting it back up in the sewers until we could bring it in under control.
Does this
So
mean
that
that,
was,
does this mean the sewers might back up into people's houses?
no, well, hopefully not. We were very cognizant of that, and we kind of just juggled as best we could to keep it flowing, but to keep it flowing safely at a safe rate. We didn't hear back from, nobody had complained about any backups. So, there's quite a bit of storage in the pipes under the town. And, you get some 42-inch pipes or some 30-inch pipes, and they get a good amount of storage. So that was an interesting exercise for us.
Harry, would this be something that would be addressed in that resiliency evaluation? Because we're more likely than not in the future to get more of these kinds of green events.
Well, that's true. I would tend to say more of the infiltration studies than the resiliency. Reason being is on the east side of town, where we have the coastal interceptor and a lot of coastal stations, they actually ran at a fairly normal rate, much less than I thought. The problem there was generators, the generators were running because there was all the power failures. Most of this was coming in from the western side of the town, which wouldn't be really subjected to any coastal issues, but more infiltration or inflow from other stormwater sources. That's what I would be thinking on that.
So that may suggest the study that'll be done next spring is all the more important, right? Because that's on the west side of town.
Correct. Yeah. And Harry, I think you said that a lot of the flow is actually coming from the subbase itself.
Yes, actually it was. That was they were one of the main contributors. So I've contacted the subbase just to discuss that with them, and they have a pretty decent person up there that I have a lot of faith in, and she's looking into this and going to get some information for us, because actually that night of the storm we didn't have a contact person at the base, although I could have called her in the middle of the night and woken her up, but she's going to get us some better information with their public works department. And they're going to look into where some of the sources came from.
That sounds good. Again, with climate change, I think we need to take this as a indicator of what we need to do to prepare for the future.
Unfortunately, this could become the norm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Move to Colorado.
Okay, so anything else in terms of the facilities, questions people have? Or are we ready to move?
Harry, did you want to mention about the new App Supervisor?
Yeah, so it looks like we found an operations supervisor.
Wow.
Yeah, so his start date is the 27th. He currently works up in Southington, has a lot of years in the business, and seems like a really good candidate.
Right?
Excellent. Did you have to pay more, or is it just,
No, he's in that range, the established range for that job.
mhm.
And you had a mechanic leave, so you're hiring
Right.
for that.
Right,
Oh,
so we're
so we're
looking,
still-
in, in accordance with the contract, we post in-house first and see if anyone wants to come in from another division. So I think there's one more round of that to see if anybody is coming in. And I think there may be someone from already working at the town who's interested in that.
Did I miss it, or is it coming up? Have we talked more to the brewery people?
So I think that's under new business. It'll be
Oh,
next.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
So
Sorry.
you're, no, that's fine, Dave. You're right. That's why I wanted to know if we were done with the facilities, or then we can move on. I obviously don't have a chairman's report. And so I guess we're on to the update on Beard, and I guess actually I don't know, are you talking to the cheese people too, or how's that working?
Yeah, they're
we
kind
had-
of both together. But as far as the brewery, they have recently made some arrangement with a biopower company, Quantum Biopower. They're in somewhere near Hartford. And they're going to be taking all of their totes of waste. They I don't know, incinerate that or whatever they do to convert that into power. So that is the current status of their plans.
By the way, I recently got a notice from the people that's giving my heating oil, Densmore, that said they are mixing some sort of biofuel with their mineral kerosene, which, as I understand, can have beneficial effects on the amount of pollution, air pollution. I don't know if that's any connection to this or not, but it's interesting that they're doing that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know that exactly what they do. I got the impression that they made power right on their site, but it could be something they're doing.
They're storing it on site, I know, yeah.
Okay, so where do we stand in terms of, they were going to install a monitor or some, I'm not sure I'm using the right term, a meter to measure the quality of what was coming out, the effluent, I guess.
Right, and they are still working with their engineer on that.
Were they going to install a monitor in the manhole is the idea, right?
Correct.
Right.
Are they going to install that, or are we?
They will install that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
You
they'll
get-
install that. It's a
You get
flow
an
meter
impression
and
of feet dragging.
yeah, I mean, they're not putting this at the top of the priority list.
Yeah.
I mean, it is good news that they're side streaming this stuff, because that does take a good bulk of the nasty stuff out of the waste stream.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
What are they doing? That's what you said, these,
That's what, yeah, that's what they're,
people are gonna take it.
yeah, this energy place is taking.
Is that in place now?
Yeah, they started doing it, looks like in the last week or two.
Uh-huh.
But
Mhm.
we will, you know, Harry and I will keep on them to get this monitoring and flow meter station in there, as well as, you know, making sure that this side streaming, you know, continues.
Uh-huh. Side streaming. That's what they call it?
Yeah,
So that's pulling out solids from their process. Is that
Hmm.
what it is? It's going to quantum biopower?
yeah, I
Yes.
believe that's what it is. Yes.
Yeah. Is this going by truck or have they built a pipeline?
No, it goes in those big square plastic totes, like 275 gallon totes. And then
Uh-huh.
they haul them up to how they transport.
Yeah, so it's by truck.
Big bags of oil, okay? Bags of grease.
So I know I've asked this before, but what was the cheese waste much more minor, so we're not so concerned about that, or what's the situation there?
Well, he was only open part the time. I'm not sure exactly what his schedule is right now. So I'm not sure what his production is at right now.
He supplies a lot of restaurants and grocery stores.
Hmm.
He does, huh?
Oh. So that indicates it's a fairly good, big size operation, you think?
Growing.
We don't know how big they are, do we? Or how big the brewery is for that matter.
Well, the brewery we've been to, it's a pretty decent sized operation, I'd say. But the cheese place, I have not been inside there, so I couldn't tell you how much. I know they don't use a lot of water based on the water meter readings,
Mhm.
but it doesn't mean that they're not, you know, dumping the dairy waste or whatever else they're bringing into the waste
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah, the milk they use for the cheese has got water in it. Yeah.
Okay, anything else in terms of beard, or does that cover it?
I think that's it.
That's it for right now. We'll just keep you updated. So, but we will, you know, we'll reach out to make a note of it to the cheese owner as well, Mr. Cheese Owner.
Yeah, yeah,
Talk to him as well.
yeah. Yeah, there's no indication that that if they're putting too much bad stuff in the sewer that it's affecting the plant. Is that true?
Um,
Or can you tell?
I'm not sure I'd be able to tell. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, if they slug us, yeah, then it's apparent.
Mhm.
And that, I guess maybe you could ask them each if they've had some significant change this year compared to last, but I guess offhand, it doesn't seem like they could be the major contributors to this change in solids that's leading to more trucking.
Why
Since,
why do you say it's not possible that's the cause?
well, it is possible, but they've both been, operating last year and before that, so this issue's been going on for a while, so it does, I guess it doesn't seem like they would be the source of a major change this year.
When did they go into operation initially?
Oh, probably 4 years ago, maybe, something like that,
Huh.
or 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah, this sludge thing's only been uptick since January.
Well, they may have increased their volume, of course. Maybe
Sure.
they've gotten
That's,
more sales and stuff.
but I would have thought that that would be apparent from their water usage, particularly for beer. I assume that,
Mhm.
if they increased how much
Right.
beer they were making, their water usage would go up too.
Oh, quite so. And the water usage hasn't gone up.
No, I've looked at their water usage last year or so, and it's pretty consistent.
Uh-huh, okay.
And the cheese, I have no idea if you change what cheese you're making, I
Yeah.
don't know.
With more stinky cheese give you more waste?
Yeah.
I know stinky cheese costs more.
They make great cheese. It's a
they?
great place. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, I keep meaning
What's
to
their
get
brand
over.
name?
Mystic cheese.
Mystic Cheese? Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. You'll see it at Quade's as well, I think. Maybe Stonington, Big Y. Yeah, they're getting out into the grocery stores as well. And
Uh-huh.
you can also like trying to think what restaurants I've had it at. Perhaps Sift upstairs. But yeah,
Oh.
they're really doing a great job and they're growing.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Wow.
Which is good. We should be happy about that, but we just,
What we have to protect. Yeah, I
Right.
get
Provided it doesn't mess up a plant, yeah.
right. Okay, anything else, or are we ready to adjourn?
I'm all set.
Okay,
else
so
from
I
my end.
guess we need someone to make a motion to adjourn, so we remember to adjourn, unlike in May.
I moved
we
to
don't-
adjourn.
Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. I guess we're adjourned, so we'll see
All right.
everybody in October.
You
Yep.
know, I've been to lots of meetings and sometimes they move to adjourn and sometimes the chairman just says we're adjourned.
Not
Well,
We
sure,
moved
but
to adjourn.
we moved to adjourn. That's the proper way to do it.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
good
Okay.
deal.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Good
Bye.
night.